All right, we're moving into game number 2. I was mistaken. It is a best of 3 for even for round 1, because there are less players than I originally thought. There are 13 players, which means best of 3 even for round 1. So we're back to Lowannk versus GoldenCreep. Both these players relatively mid to low level in vanilla StarCraft, but I would say they're close, relatively close to each other, which makes for a great match in HeptaCraft. So let's go ahead and pull up our standard spectator views here. In the upper left, we have Lowannk randoming between Dominion Raiders and Infested and getting Dominion. In the bottom right, we have GoldenCreep randoming between Swarm and Covenant, getting definitely Covenant because there's no creep on the ground. There it is. There's the big fatty mothership. Finally, a race I know how to play. Yeah, so the rules have slightly changed yet again by Summerloud, which is in a best of 3. In the first game, you have to random between 3. In game 2, you have to random between 2. And in the last game, if you make it to a final game, you can pick your race, which is pretty cool. I mean, you can random if you want, but as you can see, GoldenCreep here picking between 2 instead of 3. Lowannk, though, rolling the dice between 3. So we have a different matchup here, Covenant v Dominion. Have we seen this before? I may have. I'm starting to lose track of which matchups I've seen in the past, but Covenant is a very aggressive race, in my opinion. I mean, they can be very defensive. They can hold out on one base against overwhelming odds, but if Covenant has the offensive momentum, they can really push it. But against a Dominion player who have planetary fortresses with Ibex cannons, I'm very excited to see how this might play out. We'll see maybe some really hard defense by Lowannk as GoldenCreep goes aggressive, or maybe Lowannk will try to do a strong mech build and push against GoldenCreep with Crucio Siege Tanks, which are just the worst. Just the worst thing. I know I said repulsors are the worst thing. Crucio Siege Tanks, also somehow the worst thing. It doesn't make any sense, but they really are. And by that, I just mean they're very powerful, and if you're not prepared for them, they can just absolutely annihilate you. So one thing that I've talked about in the past, while we wait for these players to sort of ramp up them, well, we could talk about GoldenCreep here actually right now, getting out his first devotee. This is very common. Very common for Covenant players, as they get a fast Taldrim Anvil, allowing them to get out these devotees. They're very fast Zealot variants. Very fast. They have a 4.2 movement speed, very good for running across the map, scouting, and doing some early damage. And then when they die, your mothership here gets 1 energy, and you can use that energy. You can use that energy to change the devotee into an Ascendant, which is the Ascendant from the campaign with Psionic Orbs. So very common that you see a fast devotee as it runs across the map. So what I wanted to talk about here, specifically because we have a Dominion player, is how the tanks, siege tanks, have been changed. Is in StarCraft 2, they have this thing called smart firing. So imagine you have 4 siege tanks. Say you have like 12 siege tanks, and they're kind of spread out, and your enemy comes in with a shuttle with a warp prism and drops a zealot on top of one. In StarCraft 2, only the number of tanks that need to shoot the zealot to kill it will shoot. In HeptaCraft, and, well, in StarCraft 1, and by extension HeptaCraft, that smart firing has been removed. We have a nice wall in here by Lowannk, so that GoldenCreep can't get in, and we'll see if he decides to leave that devotee here or what. Also getting out two warbots. Lowannk saying, figured you were Covenant. Very smart to wall against Covenant, because you're going to see those early devotees. So anyway, that smart firing is removed. So when that Zealot gets dropped on top of a tank, every single other tank, regardless of the overkill factor, will shoot that Zealot, and the splash damage will kill your own units. You're much more likely to kill your own units with splash damage with no smart fire, which is how they work in HeptaCraft. So tanks are very slow, very positional, and very powerful. But with the right tactics, you can get them to kill themselves. I don't want to say with relative ease, but with relative ease. If you use some drop play, you can get tanks to kill themselves. You can be really cheeky and get rid of them. It's very cool. I'm just realizing, I didn't realize that Dominion could multi-build like this. That's very cool. So what is GoldenCreep deciding to do this time around? Does he has 4 warbots and 2 devotees. Now the thing about these devotees is, honestly, let them die. If you can't get through this wall, just run up here and have them start attacking. I mean, you don't want to waste them per se, but if you can do some damage and force your player to have to react, it's worth it. Because the devotees, when they die, they still have some utility in that you need dead devotees if you want to get Ascendants. Very powerful mid-game to late-game spellcasters, with that Psionic Orb specifically. Alright, so GoldenCreep deciding what he wants to do with these devotees. He knows he can't get in. We only have 4 Marines at the top of the ramp, but 4 Marines behind a wall can definitely kill melee units that want to come up and try to break in. And what has Lowannk decided to go for here? It looks like he's going to do a bio build. No factory yet. And the Warbot's actually going to push in. He's going to use the Warbots as meat while his not blood hunters. His devotees come in from behind and try to break through these supply depots. Actually, this very early aggression from GoldenCreep might be enough. This Cerberus needs to get in there and try to start getting some damage on these devotees. The devotees are light, so the Cerberus is going to do a decent amount of damage to it, but it's also very fragile. It's trying to run away, trying to stop to take one shot, actually going down. We have no units. We have 2 Marines coming out from Lowannk, and I don't know, but between all these warbots actually pulling all the SCVs off the line, getting rid of both the blood hunters, but at what cost? The Ibex cannons getting activated to great effect in getting rid of 1 to 2 warbots, and this last warbot is all that remains. And GoldenCreep somehow managing to hold on with just workers and Ibex cannons. The Ibex cannons making a huge difference in that engagement when you would consider the game over. We saw Lowannk able to hold on with the Ibex cannons. Now, GoldenCreep trying to press his luck here, deciding if he can try to get through because he knew that the wall was gone. But here we go. Lowannk reacting quickly and getting his supply depot back up. GoldenCreep deciding to expand on the back end of that, getting more warbots, perhaps going to try to push out again and secure his victory in this best of 3. Throwing down his Tall Dream Citadel, which is the prerequisite to get those ascendants. So now he can make them here. As you can see, they're 100 gas, and you need 1 energy on your mothership. And the only way to get that energy is when your devotees die. I just saw this. Inspect upgrades for the Tall Dream Mothership. This is new. Is this new? I have not seen this. Increases movement speed of the mothership. Increases production speed of Harriers and Vampires. Enables the weapon on the mothership. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that existed. I don't know what the prerequisites are here. Research anger at the Tall Dream Outpost. Okay, so he's going to have to make an outpost in order to do that. So that's new. So you can turn your mothership into a defensive structure if you want, but it sounds like it might be pricey. I don't know what the cost is going to be like. Maybe we'll get to a point where we can see that a flame turret getting set up here by Lowannk in a great spot. If any blood hunters try to get up here, that flame turret's going to do great. The warbots, though, are just mechanical. They're not light, they're not armored, so they're just going to take base damage from something like a flame turret, which is 12, which is better than if it was armored, that's for sure. Lowannk getting back on his feet. Dominion can be very defensive if they need to be, but GoldenCreep, with his expansion, he already has 2 Ascendants out, and again, if you're unfamiliar with Psionic Orb, if you didn't play the Legacy of the Void campaign and saw what these can do, Psionic Orb is very powerful. It just shoots out a small orb that moves very slowly across where you see this big red area right here, and it zaps everything that it gets close to. So it deals 14 damage per second. I feel like Summerloud keeps changing the Psionic Orb. Psionic Orb, it used to be 5, then it was 10, and now it's 14. That's crazy. Looks like GoldenCreep moving across the map with 10 warbots. Meanwhile, getting some droids on the back end of that, which will allow him to heal mechanical Mobius units, and, well, probably also Tall Dream units, getting more devotees and getting Tall Dream armor, which will help his Ascendants and devotees stay alive. Meanwhile, Lowannk, though, still trying to recover, not able to get his expansion, throwing down a sensor tower to know when these attacks are coming, but this will not be done in time, I don't think. He does have a nice little group of Marines here. Heavy infantry, not Marauders. They are heavy infantry. They function similar to Marauders, but they have way less health, do better against armored. He does have a Crucio tank out there, so as these units try to come up this ramp, they will get blasted, and there we go. You can see how much damage that does. It's crazy. As the flame turret's gonna tear apart. I mean, Lowannk having really, really good defense right here. As he kills the things that get up the ramp, it forces the units at the bottom to continue moving up the ramp. And these Ascendants are, you don't want to lose those. You have to have dead devotees to make more, and they're very gas heavy. And Lowannk very decisively defending that right there. And that engagement, if we check the units lost, I mean, it's definitely catching him up. I mean, GoldenCreep has lost way more in terms of money, so he does have an expansion. So if we check the income, he's doubling Lowannk's money. Now, Lowannk, though, just getting a huge resource advantage in terms of units lost. He may be able to move out and take his expansion. We'll see what he decides to do. We have fast tracks coming out from GoldenCreep. This allows his warbots to move a lot faster and make them way more versatile. Warbots are very, very good units that can last you all the way to the mid-game, even into the late game if you want. You get that fast tracks and you keep upgrading your Mobius weapons and armor, which he does have them all queued up here at his engineering department. Looking like he's going to get the nano repair boost, which allows droids to heal just a little bit faster. We did see these droids healing some of those warbots, but it's very, very, very slow. Increases the repair rate of droids' nano repair. Okay, so I think that's not a brand new upgrade, but a newer upgrade. What do we have going on here? Researching Whirlwind for devotees coming out from the Tall Dream Citadel, so those devotees will be able to Whirlwind to do a little more damage before they inevitably die. We also have 4 Ascendants here GoldenCreep, this is a scary army right here. This can handle a lot of things. Pushing into a defensive area, a defensive emplacement, probably not one of them, but they can defend against any large amount of push that's going to try to come up a ramp, because the Ascendants are just going to shoot their orbs down the ramp, shoot their Psi orbs down the ramp, and just annihilate any bio that's trying to get up there, and there goes the meat of this army right here. This army would get torn apart by Psionic orbs. It's just landing them properly, and at the same time, Lowannk could have any opportunity to avoid them as well. Looks like he's changing his command center into a planetary fortress, which is the only option for Dominion. And once you know, those Ibex cannons, again, going to be really, really helpful to defend. And it's really cool to see Lowannk able to swing back into this game after really, really heavy defense. He's got 2 Crucio tanks up here that can very easily hit anything coming up this ramp. Does he have vision down there, though, is my question. Where's his vision? He doesn't see anything. So even though these tanks have great range, they can't really see anything that's walking up unless it comes very close to the left. Looks like GoldenCreep looking to take another base here. And you know what? I've never meant any offense when I talk about these players being lower level relatively. Silver, gold, you know, it's not the bottom, and even if it was, that doesn't matter to me. But this is a great game to watch because we're able to see both of these races tech up to at least the mid game. We do have a large group from GoldenCreep coming across the map. We'll see what this amount of warbots can do. They have that fast track. You can see how fast they can move now, and they can shoot while moving, which is exactly why upgrading their speed can be hugely helpful. And here we go. There's the Crucio Siege tanks trying to hold out against these warbots, taking huge. Oh my god! And there's the Whirlwind. I didn't think Whirlwind was going to be that strong. Wow. Now, can these Crucio Siege tanks hold on? I'm going to say yes, but the entire bioforce of Lowannk getting wiped out. As the Ascendants, oh no, this amount of Ascendants, this is a huge misplay by GoldenCreep as he loses all of his spellcasters. That was 500 gas right there, plus that energy, that precious energy that you have to have devotees dead to get. And like I was saying, this is, just because these players aren't super high level, we can still see some really cool stuff. But wait, as that engagement was going on, GoldenCreep leaping up the Predators, probably why he lost track of his Ascendants, because he leapt the Predators into the base and must have killed so many SCVs. Let's check the workers killed. 39 workers killed by GoldenCreep. I mean, that's the amount that he's killed at the beginning of the game as well. But so many workers there just going down to those Predators that can leap up and down cliffs. They don't have the psionic pulse or the shock pulse that they have in the campaign, but they can leap up and down cliffs. They're basically melee Reapers that the Covenant have, and I was so focused on this. I mean, seeing those 5 Ascendants go down just had me fixated on what was happening, but all of those workers going down, and again, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to see at a game at this level, and this is just as fun to watch, in my opinion, because we see so many things, so many strategies that are able to be used that probably wouldn't in a higher level game that's going to end in 5 to 6 minutes. So this is really, really awesome to watch. 2 more Predators. Let's keep an eye on these this time, considering we've seen these Predators to such good effect. And we'll see if Lowannk was going to activate his Ibex cannons quickly or not. There's the Ibex cannons as they slowly turn. And there we go, going down. And you got to be careful with these tanks because they're going to kill your SCVs so fast. Lowannk leaving these are all in good spots. Again, if he can get some vision, if he wants to put up a turret over here, he'd have better vision so that his tanks could shoot things as they get closer. And it looks like he's moving down the ramp, and this is what Dominion is all about, is just slowly and steadily expanding your borders. Not being, you know, you can be aggressive. We actually saw Scaphism be super aggressive. And we saw Scaphism get super aggressive with Dominion against Carosero, I believe it was, in the last tournament, and it was awesome seeing him creep with turrets, tanks, and Vikings. That was really cool. But this is how I really imagine Dominion played, is you take your expansion, you put a bunch of tanks out, and if the enemy wants to do any damage to you, they have to circumvent your defense, because there's just no getting through this. There's no getting through these tanks unless you get some, I would say maybe GoldenCreep if you got out some not Harriers, what are they called? Cobras, those really fast but very weak air units that can go over there and get rid of that kind of stuff. So what do we have coming out from GoldenCreep? Let's take an eye at what he's up to right now. He does have 3 bases, so his income is looking much better. And there's the Cobras, GoldenCreep ahead of me. Way ahead of me. He's sending out these Cobras. These can do really, really well in attacking these workers. It looks like he has them shift queue to come over and start attacking this worker line, and could also take out tanks with them. Now, these Cobras, you can see they're super fast, but very, very weak. Only 55 damage, and or 55 health, rather. So, unless Lowannk is going to react to this, there go the Marines stimming, and you can see how fast those Cobras go down. If you have any anti-air, those Cobras simply cannot engage. They're also fairly cheap, though. Is he getting any more? 50-50. I mean, the 50 gas, though, can certainly come into play here. Reduces the build time for devotees by 25%. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get that. That also might be fairly new. We do have a Mobius physics department coming out, which I think opens up the tech tree for hybrid. Let's check. I never remember this. It's changed a few times. How do you build the hybrid tanks? Build hybrid structures. Let's see. It looks like, I don't know. It must, I think it's the I thought it was the Mobius physics department and the Tall Dream Citadel. I thought you needed both, and you would have an opportunity to start building hybrid cells. None coming out from GoldenCreep. He has a ton of money, and he's also constantly supply blocked, so he queued up a ton of Mobius magazines to no longer be supply blocked. On the other side of the map, it looks like Lowannk, again, still continuing his role with the Marine medic tank. As we saw, though, Marines are just going to get annihilated by Whirlwind, by Sonic, or pretty much by anything that Lowank's going to throw at him. Those Marines are going to die very, very, very quickly. Now, GoldenCreep, though, he has so much money, he could probably tech into hybrid if he wanted to right now. Also, the fact that he's getting so many devotees might make it worthwhile to get the Dark Cult summoning. What do I know, though? Here's the hybrid experiment. He's researching Summon Void Thrasher. We've never seen this in a tournament game, but basically, once you can tech all the way up to your really high-level hybrid, this is a Terrazine upgrade where your hybrid behemoths can summon Void Thrashers. Which just, I don't think it can move. It's just a giant turret thing, which we've seen in the campaigns. So maybe if we have an opportunity to see that in this game, that would be incredible. Both players, sort of a Cold War going on right now. GoldenCreep knowing that he probably can't get through these tanks with what he has, but he's taking that opportunity to tech. And he's getting a lot of tech out right now. He's got Nanomachine Clown coming out. Tal'Darim Weapons +3. Wow! That's crazy. Mobius level 2, and then there's the Summon Void Thrasher. Meanwhile, we have Cloning Vats coming out from Lowannk. This allows him to build Marines super, super, super fast. Actually, I'm curious to know. It's 25 now, and we'll keep an eye out for when that finishes to see how much faster he can train his Marines. It's not just Marines, it's all of your infantry. If we check this out, decreases build time and cost. So he'll be able to just pump out Bio really, really fast, but Bio is not going to work against Covenant. Another large group of warbots, though, moving across the map. Now, Nanomachine Cloud, we saw being researched here by GoldenCreep, is used by these advisors, which is an aerial spellcasting unit by Covenant, and it allows you to put down a little cloud. I can just read it. Heals friendly mechanical units and damages enemy mechanical units. Very, very good against Dominion and Raiders. Anybody that has immobile mech, like Crucios. So it looks like GoldenCreep moving across the map, possibly to check for a 3rd and 4th base by Lowannk. Destroying these rocks, too, which will allow him to get through much faster if he decides to. Yeah, he is. He's going to definitely destroy these. A lot of devotees, too, and look how fast they move. Oh, their movement speed's been changed. It's only 4 now. It used to be 4.2. But Whirlwind, I think, has also been buffed. There have been minor changes like this that I sometimes have trouble keeping track of. I didn't read the latest patch notes, admittedly. And I feel like Lowannk, he missed his advantage. What was that? That was some sort of flare. I think it was the medic. Medics have flares because you don't have scanner sweep. You don't have scanner sweep. You can see right here, where is my scanner sweep? And it's telling you, use optical flare on your medics because you don't have orbital commands. So I think what we just saw there was a medic using a flare, which is basically a scanner sweep. As GoldenCreep decided to move, I feel like Lowannk may have missed his opportunity. This is going to be the engagement that makes or breaks the game right here, because this bio is going to get ripped up by the devotees. And not just the devotees, but by the tanks. Watch this. All of those Marines, not just getting hit by Whirlwind, but getting smoked by their own tanks. But a lot of them survived, because they do have some upgrades now. The droids, though, trying to escape. You can see they had their own little paltry attack with a very, very menacing sounding attack. And Lowannk, though, now pushing his advantage. This is exactly what he needs to do, just pushing back GoldenCreep. And with this type of matchup, both players can defend so well up ramps. We'll see how these Ascendants do. But both of these races able to really hold out very, very strongly against each other. And there's an advisor. Oh, what a cool ability to use right there. That right there was Cloaking Field, which is exactly what it sounds like. Drops this little bubble and it cloaks your own units. So Nanomachine Cloud and Cloaking Field, both really, really good. Oh, Lowannk, this is cheeky. This is a cheeky little thing to do, trying to pick off the Tal'Darim mothership with 2 Vikings. And will GoldenCreep react to this? If you lose your mothership, you have to rebuild it from your command dome, and it's expensive. Oh, come on, Ascendants. Oh, he doesn't have enough psionic orbs. He's trying to get some He's trying to get some warbots up here. There we go. Almost losing the mothership. That would have been just a pain in the ass to deal with. 63 seconds to get another one, plus a decent amount of cash. Both players flowing a lot of money. You know, there's nothing to hide here. These players they're not Masters levels players, so they're going to float some cash, and that's okay. This is a late game with Covenant and Dominion. What a dream this is. He's got his hybrid cells out. He has everything unlocked. You have to make a bunch of these hybrid experiments to unlock each of these. So he can make Reavers, Nemesis, hybrid Dominators, hybrid Behemoths. Make my dream come true and get a Behemoth and summon a Void Thrasher. Make my dream come true and do it. We have +3 coming out from Lowannk on the ground, and then Dominion vehicles level 2. A giant Thor right here. It's actually the Odin model, but it is a Thor. That's one thing I really like that Summerloud did, is those late game units are menacing looking. They're huge. I love it. So Thor's 700 health, 3 base plating, doing a ton of damage, 65. It's way more than a normal Thor from vanilla. We actually have some devotees sneaking through here. So GoldenCreep gonna try to keep the harassment up right now. Actually, both players doing it. We have more Vikings coming around from Lowannk, probably gonna try to snipe that mothership. It's just so sad. We'll see though if the Ascendant is able, if these Ascendants can use Psionic Orb to kill them in time, because these four Vikings will definitely kill this mothership, and it's going to be a very, very sad sight. Yep, they're going down and around. We do have only 3 devotees queued up, and one of them might actually finish before the mothership goes down. The droids, can they even attack air? I'm not sure, but meanwhile we have warbots coming up here, pushing down the 3rd base from Lowannk, and it's hard to say who really came out on top there. I mean, Lowannk was focused on these Vikings to take out the mothership, which is, it hurts. It definitely hurts. GoldenCreep actually hasn't queued it up yet. Now landing those Vikings, actually getting cleaned up by droids. Not something you normally see happening. But you know, anytime the Tall Dream mothership dies, an angel gets its wings. That's what I've been saying. Oh! I was going to say GoldenCreep might have been able to use that whirlwind to great effect, but instead deciding to focus on the Thor. That's hugely expensive. It barely did anything. Catching all the Crucio tanks on siege. He's killed 1. He's probably going to get a second one. He's not going to get a second one. I take it back. Those Marines stem and decide to clean everything up. Let's check. Marines now only 15 seconds and only 35 minerals. That's like a 1/3 increase, I should say decrease in price and build time. So that's going to allow Lowannk to just pump out tons and tons of Marines. I fear for GoldenCreep. He has so much money. I just want him to build anything out of this hybrid cell. Anything at this point. The big kicker is going to be if he uses these Ascendants effectively to just wipe out all these Marines. Because once these Crucio tanks get set up, it's going to be very hard to push back against this. And there they are. They are set up. The 3rd base from GoldenCreep is going to go down. Lowannk, though, not taking an expansion on the back end of this. It looks like he's probably going to want to end this game right now, as GoldenCreep just accepting his losses. Honestly, he didn't need that 3rd base. He's got so much money. He already mined this out. Looks like about a 1/3 already mined out anyway. And let's see, what's he getting? Oh, please let this game go long enough. Oh, the Psionic Orbs, I missed it! So many Psionic Orbs went out and just killed so many Marines. Oh, I can't believe I missed it. These Ascendants, though. These Ascendants trying to clean up the Crucio tanks. Oh, more Psionic Orbs going out, getting rid of all of Lowank's reinforcing units. Great engagements by both players. I'm so sad I missed this, but again, the important thing is hybrid Behemoths are being built. All right, hybrid Behemoths, make it happen. There it is. Summon Void Thrasher. Void Thrashers are immensely powerful units that last until they run out of life. Notice that it does cost, is that Terrazine or is that energy? That must be energy. It costs Terrazine to upgrade them to allow them to summon the Void Thrasher. 1,000 health, 4 Carapace. Covenant has spiraled into the late game, and I don't know what Lowank's going to be able to do because his Bioforce, as we see in GoldenCreep, if GoldenCreep is ready for it, he can handle any Bioforce that he needs to. Lowannk, though, sticking with Thors, Marines, Medics, Crucio tanks. I really think that's your bread and butter with Dominion, but it may be time for him to start moving into air units. He's trying to get his 3rd base set up right here, but GoldenCreep is just so far ahead in terms of tech. And that's an interesting thing in HeptaCraft, is I noticed that your tech levels really, really matter. Not to say they don't in vanilla, but you see tier 1 units in vanilla used a lot, and be very, very important in the late game, whereas in HeptaCraft, generally your tier 1 units can be negated very easily by later tier units, like Ascendants, for example, or Researching Whirlwind. I mean, you could say the same in vanilla with, Psystorm and things like that, but I would say in HeptaCraft, it almost deters the use of of tier 1 units. You want to mix them in. They can definitely help. You need some meat in your army. But when you see your group of Marines get just ripped up by some Psionic Orbs, hoo boy. Now, I don't know how I feel about Psionic Orb getting buffed to 14 damage. That's really scary. More hybrid behemoths coming out. There's 3 out. Will we see a Void Thrasher? We need to get to 175 energy. At this point, my only goal on this map, I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but I really just I only want to see one Void Thrasher get put down and used. I don't care if it wins or loses the game. I just want to see it happen because I've never seen it, and I feel like that is the ultimate end game of all of HeptaCraft, is seeing a single Void Thrasher getting put onto the field. Let's see. I want to see if this barrage gets used to any great effects, because as you can see here, inflicting up to 600 damage in an area. So these Thors, they are late game. They are scary, and that's the other thing. Like I was saying, is I feel like the late game units, not only do they look more menacing, but they are more menacing. I mean, they all cost Terrazine. All your late game units cost Terrazine to make. As you can see, the behemoths cost 75 Terrazine. Both players having a lot saved up though. But I would love to see Lowannk transition into air units. He does have a fusion core out, but what is that going to allow him to do? He's not building any air units from what I can tell. He's getting tons and tons of upgrades though. He's getting his ship weapons, vehicle weapons, and infantry armor all +3. So Lowannk has an opportunity here to push back a big attack by GoldenCreep. GoldenCreep retaking his 3rd base, taking a 4th base. Meanwhile, Lowannk doing the same thing. What's going on here? Oh my word, did he drop? He dropped into the base. The Void Thrasher, it's happened! The Void Thrasher has happened! It's destroying so many groups of small units. They're all getting wiped out. Look at that. Wow. That Void Thrasher just annihilated this army and all the SCVs in there. What a dream that was to see GoldenCreep dropping a behemoth into the base of Lowannk so he could spawn a Void Thrasher. What a dream. GoldenCreep deciding to move out on the back end of that. Are the Crucio tanks still sieged? They are. And GoldenCreep actually moving right past this base, not even seeing it. And here we go. The big question here right now is, how will this fare? Will the barrage get used? As, yes, the barrage is used, and you can see how much damage it did. It wiped out the entire force of GoldenCreep. These players just slugging it out in the late game with each other. What a treat to see both players having 4 bases up right now. It's honestly really hard to tell who's even ahead. I mean, looking at the resources lost, it doesn't even matter because both players have so much money. You can't really use that as an indicator. Another Void Thrasher out on the field. He's actually using it. Oh, they can move. He's using it as, like, static defense at this point. Wiping out a ton of the Vikings as Lowannk trying to move in with his Marines to kill this thing. He's got to dodge the little, I don't even know what that is, lightning? Lightning, it's literally called Lightning AoE and Lightning AoE Extra. As Lowannk now using these Void Thrashers, which are basically summon units, they only cost energy. And I mean, if GoldenCreep just keeps using those, they're free. They're basically free. I mean, they just cost energy. He has 5 behemoths, which he can use offensively. As Lowannk now maybe deciding that it's time for him, he's got to start moving across the map with these tanks. Now, neither player really that strong in the air. Not really that strong in the air. And so I don't really expect to see any air units at this point, though that could make a huge difference. We have ship weapons level 3 coming out from Lowannk. If Lowannk decided to transition into battle cruisers, take another base, both players are still, anything could change the tide of this game. Anything can. But really, I think GoldenCreep knows what he needs to do. He just keeps pumping out hybrid and just keeps summoning Void Thrashers that are essentially free. They only cost energy. You can just slowly send them across the map to do damage. But I don't even think a Void Thrasher would be able to make it through this amount of Crucios. Here comes the Thor moving up. We saw that barrage used to great effect. 21 kills on that one Thor is crazy. Is just crazy. Now the 3rd base of GoldenCreep getting taken out. Lowannk, being the one who's deciding to go on the offensive right now, may be able to make this happen right now. One behemoth getting pushed in. Oh, here come all the behemoths. And none of these tanks are sieged. None of the tanks are sieged. I think he's leaving them unsieged. No, now they're getting sieged up, but I think it's too late as the behemoths are going to clean up all the tanks. All of Lowank's tanks. There is one Nemesis, though. There was also one hybrid Nemesis in here, too, which can help immensely. So we have the advisor right here. What was it just doing? Was it healing something? Oh, those are the droids. The droids can heal while they move and attack, but it's a very slow rate. I'm pretty sure this is GG right now, as GoldenCreep is going to be able to move into Lowannk spaces, but what a great show by both players. And you know, I thought it was GG way earlier. I thought this game was over at like the 10-minute mark. And another Void Thrasher right there as it just wipes out this planetary fortress. No Ibex cannons being used either. Lowannk probably more distracted with trying to pump out any units that he can, but these crazy, crazy abilities right here with the Hybrid Behemoth spawning the Void Thrashers. Finally seeing some late-game hybrid. I've never seen this before. He's saying he wished he could upgrade his mech armor. Maybe, is that a bug in this version? It is. No mech armor. I mean, I don't know if that would have made the difference per se, but I can understand Lowank's perspective. You know, you can't upgrade that. He was 3-3 everywhere else. What a great game, though, to see. And, you know, low-level players, relatively low-level players, you can't disrespect him. This was one of the most entertaining games I've seen, and this was awesome. Thank you both.